Hi, welcome to this next video on inheritance in C++. In the last video, if you saw that, I demonstrated how to create a constructor. Well, first of all, I created a square class that derives from a shape class. So you're looking at the definition now. And then I wrote a constructor to build a new square using the constructor from shape, as well as setting the height and width that are different than shape. Then if you remember, we also wrote a quick program that created a new square object, a new instance, and then called the draw member function, which inherits from the base class. So it called the shape draw function, and if you'll see that, there's our output drawing a shape at x1, y2. Okay, well that's not correct. What we want to do is we want draw to be for a square as opposed to for a shape. So we're going to need to add our own definition for draw. But first of all, I need to go back to shape and do one thing here. As we need some getters so that we can have access to the x and y coordinates. Remember that a derived class does not have access to the base class's private member variables, or even any of the members. So if we want to have that access, we're going to have to do that through the public interface. So that's why I wrote a getX and getY to do that. So with that in place, we can rewrite draw. All right, so what I'm getting ready to do is I'm going to what's called override the shape's definition. And so I'm going to add, I'm going to steal, and then I'm going to modify. Oops. There we go. Okay, so this is a square, so let's change that. And then let's add another . Sorry. There we go. Okay. So we override draw so that now we have our own definition of draw for a square, and it's going to work as follows. Whoops, 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 whoops. Let's see what happened here. Oh, forgot to do my getters. So right here, man. Again, I don't edit out my mistakes so that you can see them and see how I fixed them. So I noticed that where it said X is private, I thought, that's weird. So then I realized that I can't access those private member variables directly, which is something I just told you about, so I needed to call the getters for X and Y. Now, we should see, there it is, drawing a square at x1, y2, width 3, height 3. So to summarize, what I've done here is that I've done an override. I've overridden the definition of draw. Remember that draw is in the public interface part of shape, so square inherits draw. But because draw is specific for a shape, I need to redefine it or override the shape definition with my own square definition of drawing a square. So that's what we did right here. So that wraps up this video on, I guess really on overriding base class definitions, and I'll see you in my next video on inheritance.